Alright guys, today we're going to talk about why no one should be on the carnivore diet for too long. Welcome everyone to my very humble channel. Now let's get right on into it. No one should be doing a carnivore diet more than a year. And I'm going to explain why. Now most of you are walking around with a weak gut wall, a small intestinal wall, and sometimes you have an inflammatory disorder either of your stomach or your ascending colon or your transverse colon. You might have Crohn's disease. There's an inflammation in your digestive system. And you find and discover a carnivore diet, you eat some meat, and you instantly feel better. And so you think, well, since I feel better, I'm just going to do this forever. Think a lot of the people in a carnivore community, and the doctors even can be very dogmatic. As you guys know, the doctors don't get any nutritional education. So just because they have MD next to their YouTube name does not give them a plethora of knowledge. You have to actually go down the rabbit hole and learn about what type of inflammatory diseases are there and how they connect to the diet and lifestyle in which we live as modern humans. I'm seriously starting to think that no one is completely healthy the way we used to be as a hunter-gatherer tribesperson. In today's society, we're just so exposed to so much junk in the air, in the water, in our food, in our minds, stressed out. People don't exercise anymore, and all of these things combined or even individually can create an inflammatory response within the body. But let's get right on to the modern human specifically. People who drink coffee, smoke cigarettes, and eat food that has pesticides or preservatives in their food. The chemicals, the plastics in our environment, the xenoestrogens, the heavy metals. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And often we break down the microvilli in our intestinal wall. Big ass permeable holes form within the small intestinal wall when it should be nice and tight. Then our stomach acids drop. Bad bacteria grows like cray, and the beneficial bacteria goes and we feel and look like poo-poo. And that's not all. People have deficiencies because they're eating low-quality diets. Deficiencies in zinc and copper, which help that wall stay tight. People don't get vitamin D, a lot of the minerals that we need for our electrolytes. Our lymphatic system is holding on to toxins. People develop plaques in their colon of poop that just stuck there, and other poop sticks to it like Velcro. Then our liver function is jacked up and we can't detox. So we begin to have problems with everything. And I mean literally everything. With our sleep, with our energy, with our skin, with our hormones, with our mental wellness. I mean, it just goes on and on. We have like joint pain and fibromyalgia and menstrual cycle issues, and men develop low testosterone, women become estrogen dominant, all because of all these things, especially with the gut to brain connection. We lose this very important enzyme called diamine oxidase, or DAO, and N-methyltransferase. These are enzymes that break down histamine. Histamine is created when there's an inflammatory response, and the inflammation in your body is designed for a short term to heal and then leave the body. The problem is when histamine stays in the body for too long, it begins to break down tissue. It begins to frack you up, and you can see it on people's health. They've got dark circles under their eyes. They have like broken blood vessels around their nose, and their skin, nail, and hair looks terrible. Their teeth, they look inflamed and bloated, and big pores around their face, and you just see people's health right in front of you. Now comes the carnivore diet. And people do a carnivore diet because you can also have permeable issues with wheat in bread. We're not supposed to be eating the wheat. We're not. There's a lot of plants, when consumed too much, begin to also break down the gut barrier, the gut wall, because of the defense. Plants don't have teeth and claws, but they got some chemicals that'll wreck you up. We don't think about that kind of stuff. Now, today, people have discovered a ketogenic and now carnivore diet. They get rid of all those plants and they instantly feel better. I often tell people, most of the allergies towards foods are in what? Drum roll, please. Especially with anaphylaxis, my bad, not tis, where people can't breathe. You find that in things like nuts and legumes and the wheat. You find people having extreme reactions to plants, but not animals. But people who are sensitive with a weak gut wall can also have reactions to meat and the bacteria growing on meat. And to meat from animals. They can also develop issues like wet hung or dry hung meat, if that animal ate soy or not. If they eat too many eggs, where the whites, that the protein is growing from the white, is very allergenic. So too many eggs can create a gut permeable issue. And what about the cheese? Cheese is an animal product, but it's high in casein. And casein does what? It mimics wheat. There's this cross-reactivity or cross-reactive reaction in your gut wall or on the gut wall, where now your body thinks that cheese is the same thing as wheat. And then your freaking inflammatory and autoimmune issues explode on cheese. Now, not everyone, but most y'all. Now, here's the main point. Why people should not do carnivore for too long. Because not only those things like wet hung or dry hung or bacteria or soy or mercury, but also fiber. In fact, the lack of fiber. In fact, the lack of prebiotic fiber. Now I've learned a lot. Avocados have fiber, and it does help, but it's not a prebiotic fiber. And microbes can attach to the insoluble fiber, but not that good. Not as good as something like asparagus. That's prebiotic fiber. Now, cruciferous vegetables are insoluble and soluble, but they don't have a lot of prebiotic fiber types, although they do have it. But it's very interesting. A lot of the foods you can't eat have what you need to fix the gut. Asparagus is a low histamine food. Broccoli is not. Cabbage is like this. Zucchini is a low histamine plant, but very low prebiotic, very low fiber plant. And that is the reason why I tell people you need just a little bit of plants to keep the gut microbiome going. Or balanced. You don't need fiber to poop. You need fiber to have bacteria stabilize in the gut. This bacteria is called beneficial bacteria. And without any type of prebiotic fiber, then that beneficial bacteria can attach itself and ferment to the fiber, the bacteria fermented, and attaching to the prebiotic fiber to stabilize and make the gut wall strong, make the microvilli happy, and gut motility moving so you can poop out that stuff. Here is one thing that Steph really needs to clear up, because I was explaining this concept of you need fiber, prebiotic fiber, so the bacteria can attach and stabilize. It's not really that. Let's get this clear. It's more like the bacteria ferments the prebiotic fiber, so not attached, but it ferments it, and it metabolizes it and turns it into butyrate and acetate, and this stuff helps the gut wall. This also helps with diamine oxidase production, stabilizing the beneficial bacteria so you don't lose it, right? So the beneficial bacteria doesn't go pew, and then bad bacteria overtakes, and then candida overgrowth happens, and you're bloated all the time, and you start to feel and look inflamed. That is what is important about adding fiber, especially prebiotic fiber, to a carnivore diet in the smallest of amounts. You don't need a lot, but you need enough for the bacteria to metabolize and ferment that fiber so it can be converted into butyrate and acetate and fix your gut so you can poop and not be so stressed out. It's also very interesting that the short chain fatty acids that you develop with the fermentation process from the bacteria helps the colon be more slightly acidic, hence killing nastiness and microbes, because a lot of you guys are just toxic. You can't get out just bad bacteria, you're not pooping enough, your liver function is low, you're not hydrated, your lymphatic system isn't functioning properly, and ultimately being able to eat a little bit of prebiotic fiber will help the whole GI tract. If your gut wall and your GI tract are functioning properly and you have enough stomach acid, you're going to feel like you're on top of the world. You won't need these pharmaceutical drugs to lose weight. You won't need all of these pharmaceutical interventions for your thyroid or to have energy. You won't need coffee. A lot of people are using all these exterior garbage and nonsense to feel better. And they'll do a carnivore diet and feel bad and have low energy. I had a consultation today with a woman who was still drinking coffee, but she called herself carnivore. People don't realize they're not getting into ketosis. The protein is too high. And then on top of that, they are not eating any fiber over time, lowering their diamine oxidase, having an imbalance of bacteria, having their beneficial bacteria go pfft. Then when they try to eat certain foods later, they can't. Plants, because they did carnivore diet to lose weight. They never did it because of histamine intolerance, and then they try to go back to certain plants, and then they develop histamine they never had before. No one should be doing carnivore longer than a year. You use it as an amazing platform to take the inflammation down from your salicylates, your oxalates, your goit, your ginger, nightshades, your lectins, saponins, tannins, gluten, all of these plant toxins, and then at the same time get into ketosis or do low carb high fat, balance their blood sugar, get their stress down, toxic exposure, get some vitamin D, get zinc and copper for the gut in food like organ meats, exercise, breathe. And once you do all these things, it's not just about doing a carnivore diet. You're not going to get magically fixed. And then some of these people are saying, well, you do a carnivore diet, you eat a bunch of protein, then you fast, and then you're going to heal because it's autophagy. And they're lying to you because they're pulling it out of their bunghole. It's illogical. And if you go and ask them about beneficial bacteria and this fermentation process, Ask that question in their lives. Ask that question about the stabilization of important beneficial bacteria through prebiotics. Ask about beneficial bacteria and the fermentation with prebiotic fiber and see what they say. Because you're not going to have that chain of events by eating only meat. You are not. So be careful, people. As hunter-gatherers, we did not fast electively. We went through feast or famine. We didn't go through famine and go do cardio for frack's sake. Go pay bills and run around town. We rested, and nobody rests anymore. We're lit. Our gut wall is destroyed. And when our gut wall is weak and it's permeable, that's an inflammatory response. That's the fight or flight reaction. And then people are not eating food for the zinc, copper, for the electrolytes, for the fat-soluble vitamins, because they're going on these crazy fasts because somebody told them there's a word that's called autophagy. Can't measure it, but everybody thinks they're experiencing autophagy and the benefits of a carnivore diet, and they look like a hot mess. And they do. And a lot of gurus just omit a lot of problems. Certain people like Paul Saladino started eating fruit because he had problems. So he admitted it, sort of. Then we have Frank Tufano, who straight up had problems and admitted it. But everybody else stays, mum, not your girl stuff. I'm not strict. I'm just practical. I want to do things with eyes wide open and to not push a bunch of nonsense that's going to ultimately injure you. If you want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com, book a consultation. All this research is going into the challenge. I'm just going to break it down and make it simple for you guys to use this forever. With all these little snapshots of information, you will be able to ultimately fix your health. If you have one arm, you're not going to grow another one. But if you have a thyroid issue, you still have a thyroid. If you have your reproductive hormones, organs, if you have your systems, but they're malfunctioning, be patient. Stop running towards these stupid ass trends, and you can fix your body on your own time. Don't compare yourself to me or any other guru. If you want to learn more, if you want to book a consultation, if you want to sign up for my course, go to stephanieperson.com. It's a month-to-month course. But the 30-day challenge, that's going to be amazeballs. Stay tuned. I'm working on it. Sign-ups are not ready yet, but I should pop it off this month for sign-ups. Okay. Now I gotta go and edit this video. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I'm 55, turning 56 very soon, and I'm out. Energy! Peace.